Family historians have enjoyed researching our Reter family history for decades. A family tree listing only names and dates of birth can be rather bland and boring. When we research family history, we seek to flesh out that tree with stories, to meet our ancestors face to face. What starts as a somewhat dry presentation ends in graphic detail, demonstrating why we didn't know the rest of the story. Recent efforts by Jim Reter and Robert Reter have built a bridge across the chasm between America and Germany. With acknowledgement to those researchers who worked tirelessly to compile our history long before the digital age, I would like to introduce you to your German roots. The life of our ancestor, George Reter, was documented across his lifespan by census records between 1870 and 1920. Notice that in each record his surname is spelled differently. His death certificate provides vital details. It was completed by his daughter in 1922. On his death certificate, George's parents are listed as Christian Reter and Sophia Steffers Reter. Remember these names, they'll come up later. Look back at the 1880 census. Because of the different way the question was worded, in what county were you born? George provided a more specific place of birth, Holstein. With these two pieces of information, Holstein and Christian and Sophia, this gave me something to search for in Germany. Germany had changed a great deal throughout the 19th and 20th centuries. I didn't know where Holstein was, so I looked at an older map. I found this map from the time period mentioned, and sure enough, there's Holstein. Holstein is located in North Germany, between the North and Baltic Seas. After searching on Ancestry.com in German records, I found a marriage record for a Franz Christian Rüter and Katharina Sophia Johanna Stephan. The names from the death certificate, Christian and Sophia, were correct. Steffers is close to Stephan. Information on death certificates come from surviving family members, and the information is only as reliable as their recollection in their state of mind when the record is completed. The marriage record is dated September 24, 1830, in a place called Klostersund, Germany. This document provides a wealth of information. We see that Franz Christian is a bachelor and a baker. Katharina Sophia is a widow whose first husband's last name was Helms. We have both of their parents' names, including their mother's maiden names. Even the doctors who provided their vaccinations and their dates of vaccination are included. Here's a map showing Klostersund. As we zoom out, we see the town is Elmshorn, which is just northwest of Hamburg. When we zoom out further, we find this is located in an area now known as Schleswig-Holstein. These were two duchies which were combined. For a fun history lesson, pull up Wikipedia and learn about the history of this northernmost area of Germany. So we now have Christian and Sophia marrying in an area known as Holstein. Ancestry provided some birth records relating to Christian and Sophia. These documents show us the birth of a daughter named Anna in 1831, a son named Thias in 1833, and in 1835, a son named George Frederick Rüter. The name matches. The parents match. the year he was born, even in the county of Holstein. In genealogy, every answer brings more questions. Following the children of Christian and Sophia, I found the death record of their son, Thias. In order to understand what this death record said, I used Google Translate. Thias died of yellow fever in St. Thomas on May 11, 1856. It seemed strange that this 22-year-old German boy would be so far away in St. Thomas. This discovery brought to mind an immigration record found when querying George Reter, which I had discounted long before. In the record, George Reter immigrated from Nicaragua to New York. The reason I discounted it was that coming from Nicaragua didn't make sense to me. What could this young German man have to do in Nicaragua before settling in Baltimore? Look at the distance between Nicaragua and St. Thomas. The proximity linked the two brothers. Reviewing the immigration record, the ship was called the Tennessee. Google to the rescue! This article in Wikipedia explains that the Tennessee was built in Baltimore for the War of 1812. She eventually transported mail and prospectors between New York City and Central America. Prospectors traveled to the eastern shore of Panama and Nicaragua to continue on up the coast of California. Here in this article it says, the Tennessee delivered the last group of immigrants volunteering as mercenary soldiers for William Walker in Nicaragua, and, after defeat of Walker's forces, took home hundreds of disconsolate, defeated survivors. Mercenaries? Could our George Reter have been one of those mercenaries? I looked up William Walker and studied the filibuster of Nicaragua. After going into service as a mercenary and losing his older brother in such a senseless way, could George have hidden his history in shame? That's my theory anyway. We have documentation to suggest that George, Thias, and their sister Anna were from Holstein, or Elmshorn, Germany. Now, to prove we're related, we would need to confirm the genetic connection to these Rüters of Germany. We would need to find a genetic match with no other common family lines. James Reter submitted a DNA test, as did Robert Reter. Anyone matching both tests could only share either George Reter or his wife, Catherine Linz Reter. Up until now, no match has demonstrated a connection to the Rüter family in Germany. However, recently, when I performed a search for any genetic matches whose family names included Rüter, one match appeared. To confirm the family line, the only shared match for these two tests is Robert Reter. Our match has an ancestor named Christina Rüter from Klostersand, Elmshorn, Germany. Looking back at George's tree, Christina is his paternal aunt. Now we have both documentation and a genetic link where we can say that our Reter roots are in Elmshorn, Germany. Thank you for joining me on this quest, and I hope you'll consider joining me on an exploration of Holstein, Germany someday.